Today I'm tying the Dahlberg Diver fly using deer hair and rabbit strip. I'm going to start with a size 1/0 limerick hook. It's called a limerick hook because it's got a flat spot in the bend there, which is supposed to be better for keeping fish on the hook. But you could pretty much use any hook for this. A streamer hook would be fine. I'm going to start my thread towards the back a little bit. And then I'm going to tie on a weed guard. And for this I'm going to use 30-pound mono. So cut a short length. I like to feed it through the vise so that it maintains the curve with the hook. And just tie that directly on top there. And then start working your way towards the back of the hook. Down to about there should be fine. And then bring the thread back up to about there. Next I'm going to tie on the tail, and for this I'm going to use some bright green zonka strip. I'm going to cut up a short piece about as long as the hook and tie it straight on top there. I like to tie it with the skin side up because the fish are going to be looking from underneath and they'll see that nice flowing tail. Okay, next I've got some green deer hair. I'm going to grab about a pencil width with my fingers and just cut it off at the base there. Now with deer hair it's a good idea to comb out the under fur. Like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this first tuft of deer hair pointing more towards the back than straight up, and I want to utilise the colour in the tips there. So I probably want it about yay long. I'm going to cut the rest off. And I'm just going to put a couple of wraps over it. And then just spread it so it sits all the way around the hook. and hold it there while I tie it on. Just make sure it's nice and even. And I'm going to tie that off with a bit of a whip finish. Or you can use half hitches, doesn't matter. And let me just get rid of some of this excess. And then I might just put a few more wraps around there just to stop the deer hair from splaying out. I want to sort of push it back, keep it back like that. Okay, grab some more deer hair, another pencil width, and then placing that on top. This time we're going to tie it right in the middle. So what we want to do is put on a loose wrap, cinch it just a tiny bit, and another loose wrap, cinch it a tiny bit again, and then with our finger we want to push the hair down so it goes around the hook a little bit. Before cinching it tight and letting it spin. Pull it back and just zigzag that line out. Tie it off. Just hold the tension on there, push it back. And some half hitches or whip finish. And it's important that we pack it really tight so that the hair is dense. So just sliding it straight back like that. And then apply just a little bit of head cement just to stop the deer hair from spinning around the hook when the fly is finished. And again, another pencil width of deer hair. Combing out the underhair. And again, 2 very light wraps, and then pushing the hair around the hook, and then tightening the wraps and letting it spin. Zigzag the line out, a couple of wraps around there, while holding the tension, push it all back. Tying it off, and make sure it's pushed right back. Alright, I might put a little bit of black deer hair on just for a change. Same deal, pencil width. Tie that off. Pack that nice and tight. And just tie that off again. Okay, now it's time to give it a trim. So what we can do is turn it over. I'm going to put a bucket under this, otherwise it gets a bit messy. And I'm just going to start with the scissors. Just going to remove some of that hair so I can see what I'm doing. so I can see the point of the hook. And then you want to grab a nice sharp razor blade. Just do a straight cut along the underneath. Just being careful not to go too close to the hook under there, because if you cut the thread it'll all fall apart. Okay, then you want to grab your razor blade, make a curve like that, and start creating the head. Just take your time. So what you're doing in essence is creating a little ramp for the water to come up, and this collar here creates the bubble, so it bloops through the water. That's about right. Pop it back in the vise. Okay, then we can put the thread back on and finish off our weed guard. So we put the mono up through the eye of the hook. And we just make sure that we're happy with the length of where the weed guard is. Might just take it out of the vise and double check. Yep, it's all good. So I'll hold that there. Might even shorten that a bit. Tie that on nice and tight. And whip finish. And then And this weed guard's got to go back through the eye of the hook. There we go. Just pull it through. And you can snip that off. Just neaten it up a little bit. Putting a little bit of head cement on the nose, just to stop the thread from ever coming undone. A little bit on the weed guard. Just clean up any head cement from the eye of the hook. And there you have it, the Dahlberg Diver fly.